Hey guys, today is March 10th, 2026. Title of this video, Aircraft Carrier About to be Sunk. So, some more images from iPad Go and other things that I want to share with you guys. Between March 12th and March 14th, I'm really keyed and focused on that time frame for a lot more things to happen. We'll see. I want to share with you guys. I got some very interesting things to share with this. But just to recap, images from PetGoat again, showing Bin Laden on the iceberg, which is referring to the aircraft carrier now we know is likely to be the USS Abraham Lincoln, right? This is all about invading the space near Iran because the iceberg is just like this landmass right here that points to Iran. And the eclipse was shown at 2:17, and as I said before, we have the timestamp in the video at 2:17, and we just had an eclipse on 2:17, right? And that was preparation for war. Then we have the tiger and the girl's back, which is the month of February. It goes into the beginning of March, and this is a war scene. As I said before, we have tanks that were shown just prior to this image. But 28 and the fireworks, February 28th. USS Abraham Lincoln carries out strikes in Iran war, right? And Baron Samedi's has a top hat just like Abraham Lincoln. So, yeah, this is referring to the attack by the United States. So I showed you guys in my previous video, talked about the Iranian warship that was sunk by the US with a torpedo. And I showed you guys a different comparison image, but I want to show you this one because just like we had the timestamp of 2:17 and the eclipse, preparation for war. Well, what do we have? We have, well, I circled here, it looks like a boat that is sinking with its bow up in the air, just like, this warship, this Iranian warship that was sunk on March 4th. And the timestamp on this video, I think it might begin at the 3:03 mark, but it's shown here while it was at the 3:04 mark as well. So it's very interesting because, again, this would be the second timestamp marker by iPad Go. With we can correlate two events happening, two within a month. And I'm wondering if we're going to have another one soon. This one that I talked about before, this begins at the 3:12 mark, and this may be signaling an aircraft carrier being sunk, is why they're showing this one a much larger perspective, right? It's more in your face. It looks like a large boat. Back here, they had the smaller image because it's in the background. So, again, this begins at 3:12. I think this scene ends at 3. It lasts for like 10 seconds or 8 seconds, something like that. But still, I'm looking at 3:12 to 3:14. 3:13, I stopped it right here. Is actually right in the middle is where I'm focused on the most for this event. So if something like this happened, they would say, nothing like this has happened since Pearl Harbor, And if you look at last year in Pearl Harbor Day, it's so interesting because our country was exactly 91101 days old, right? 9/11/01 since the founding of the United States. I shouldn't say our country. It's where I live in the United States, but yeah, that's very interesting, and also the fact that United States of America equals 228 and 84. And the attack was on 228, and it was 84 years and 84 days after Pearl Harbor. So we have a Pearl Harbor connection, right? with the attack, because this was the 84th anniversary right here of Pearl Harbor. We had this big 9/11 connection to July 4th, 1776. Then we have the double 84 connection, with the attack from Pearl Harbor. Now, this is also very interesting when I'm looking at the March 13th date. The founder of the Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt, his death date to Pearl Harbor was 111 years, 19 days, right? So it's like a backwards 9/11. Look at this connection to March 13th with his death as well. We have the same numbers, just rearranged. 10191 weeks, 1 day. But if you look at from the date that Pearl Harbor took place to March 13th, Friday the 13th, 1,011 months and 6 days. Well, if you flip that upside down and reverse it horizontally, what do you have? You have 9/11/01 since Pearl Harbor. Now the USS Abraham Lincoln has the number 72 on it. And March 13th is the 72nd day of the year. But it gets even more interesting because the full gematria of its name, USS Abraham Lincoln, CVN 72, and ordinal gematria equals 293. Well, the 72nd day of the year, March 13th, leaves 293 days remaining in the year. This will also be exactly 457 months, which is the 88th prime since the Abraham Lincoln launched, right? In 1988. So it's a connection from it launching in the year 88, and now we have the 88th prime from that launch. And, Ali Khamenei had the numerology of 88, right? He was the first person taken out on the first attack. Now his son also has a numerology and gematria of 88 in reverse reduction. Of course, Trump does as well, 88. This is also 888 days after the attack on Israel on October 7th, 2023. Now, the USS Abraham Lincoln is part of a carrier strike group called Carrier Strike Group 3. So, the aircraft carrier Lincoln, it says, is the group's current flagship, right? And this was formed on October 1st, 2004. And from that time frame to March 13th, Friday the 13th, is 1,119 weeks. 9/11 backwards. And we have the Skull and Bones connection from War Games being released on June 3rd. 2232 weeks. 1-3 multiple twos is what I always look at, right? But Iran equals 42. War equals 42. World War equals 42. March 13th has a numerology of 42. So this could also be referring to all the ships that were sunk by the U.S. Over 20 Iranian ships sunk. CENTCOM says. Well, CENTCOM is one of 11 unified combatant command of the United States Department of Defense. Its area of responsibility, one part includes the Middle East. So if you take its founding date and do the date reversal method that I was talking about, it was founded on January 1st, 1983, and you do that reversal method, you have exactly 42 years and 42 weeks since CENTCOM was founded. So if something like the Abraham Lincoln were to be sunk, then, again, I said this is an attack scene by the United States, and it shows Pi date, which I talked about, in my other video. But this obviously couldn't be the Lincoln attacking, but, if it were sunk, but refers to the United States attacking and refers to Pi, because, right, he blows the party favor. Baron Samedi blows the party favor, and he has the Pi in his teeth, and he has the Pi on his cheek, right? Referring to March 14th. Not only that, this scene again, the mother and the boy look like they are Middle Eastern. And if you look on her face, it is written Pi, right? I just tried to outline it, P-I-E, Pi date. And at the 314 mark, this bottle, this tear jar is what she's holding. We see the explosion. So the U.S. retaliating, on March 14th on Pi Day. Anyways, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what takes place between March 12th and March 14th. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Take care.